Hi, George. It's Diane.
And Steve.
We are so happy to make this video and pay tribute to you because when we first moved to North Chatham, we really didn't know anything about the community. We were hoping that it was a wonderful place, and your name came up over and over, and people said, you have to meet George Valmuth. He's the unofficial mayor and the keeper and preserver of the history of North Chatham, and just an all-around great guy. And I remember that it was around Thanksgiving time, and I saw the lights on in your house, and I knew that was your house, and I stopped in because I wanted to introduce myself. And Jan was so kind to let me in, and I could tell that you had company, and you were unfailingly polite, even though I could tell that you had a full house of people, and you were so kind, and you made me feel welcome right away. And another story is the time that you saved Steve's life when he had a bike accident on the bike path, and I didn't have the car key because it was on Steve's person, and he fell off his bike, and they called me from the bike path and said that he was unconscious. And I ran over to the Historical Society. You were setting up the Christmas tree. And I said, George, you must drive me over to Steve. I have to see what's going on. And you took me over there, and the ambulance was there, and I don't know what I would have done without your help. So thank you for being a great friend over the years, and a wonderful neighbor, and really a mentor and a guiding light for all of us.
George, my story is a little more difficult, but it does have a happy ending. We bought our house in the summer of 2013, and that summer we were very busy getting our house back in New Jersey ready to be put on the market for sale. And so we didn't get to spend very much time up here. We didn't get to meet very many neighbors. And the summer came, the summer went. We sold our house in the fall. And we figured, well, maybe next year in the summer we'll come up and we'll get to spend a little more time. But meanwhile, sometime in early December, I believe, we get a letter, and it talks about a tradition in North Chatham, something about, so I never heard the word before, luminaries. And I showed it to Diane, and we were in a bit of a panic because it talked about how this was a very old tradition and every house participated, and we didn't even know what it was. There were very clear instructions, thank you for that, on how to make your own. But here we were, mostly downstate, and we find out that we have just a little time to get this whole thing together. So I remember canceling a whole afternoon of patience and running to a store and buying about 12 gallons of water and pouring them all out and getting a straight edge and cutting upside down U's and getting candles and because, you know, we figured if we don't do this, we may never make friends in our new neighborhood. So everything hinged on, this letter sounded very serious. And so we came up, we set up these things called luminaries. We ended up coming up for the evening of the ceremony, of the viewing of them, the lighting of them. And that was the beginning of us meeting our neighbors, of me meeting you and our neighbors, Mark and Robin, etc., and feeling like we were part of the neighborhood. So your letter terrified us, but it got us to do the right thing, and it got us to meet a lot of great people in this town, and we thank you for that, George. And one thing you have left us, which we will always have, is that when we look out our window, what we see when we're sitting at our breakfast table or at our dining room table is this lovely building that you left all of us in North Chatham. So George, we wish you great success in meeting new friends in your new community and good continued health. And we hope that you will come back and visit often. And if not, we'll just have to go and visit you.
And we will miss you, George. So we send our love and affection to you.
Bye-bye.
It's me, Sharon, a member from the post office. I just want you to know that I think of you often. You were the one person that I met first when I started working there. You and your white hair. You were so kind and so helpful to me and helping me to meet everybody in town. Doing the appreciation party when the post office was sold. All you've done for the town. I want you happy, healthy, and you know, I'm going to miss seeing you, but I'll come up and visit you. Okay. You were a fun guy to be with, that's for sure. We spent a lot of time at that post office. And watching you run those streets. So, I want you to take care of yourself. And I'll see you soon, okay? Love you, bye.
Hey George, this is Paul Herrington. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You've been a good friend for a long time, and we miss seeing you around North Chatham. Hope you're doing well. We got to know each other best while we were building the barn, church barn, and I believe that was back in 1997. You were a very faithful helper on that, and it was always a pleasure to work with you. Even when you didn't know what we were doing, you were always willing to learn, and it was just, you were part of a great team, and we did a lot of good work that summer, and you know, I will always remember that. I also always remember when we used to do Christmas caroling in the village, we'd come back to the church and you would play the piano, we'd sing around the piano, and you were so good playing that piano, it wasn't funny. And the final thing that I always remember is all your help with the finance committee. You always had good things to say, made good points, asked good questions. You know, your financial savvy came through and it helped the church. And I know you were generous to the church too financially, and we really appreciated that. So just want to say good luck. We'll miss seeing you in North Chatham, but hope that you do well wherever you land. And if you ever come back to North Chatham, we'd love to see you. Thanks. Bye.
Hey George, this is for you. Man, I tell you, you have just been so instrumental in, first of all, welcoming both of us to North Chatham, and you've always been there sharing all your wisdom and knowledge about the history, always ready to answer any of my questions about the village and
in our house.
You've always been exemplary in, you know, conversation and dialogue regarding all things North Chatham. But most of all, I'm going to miss our post office chats because we had some good ones. Everything from, you know, the speeding to, you know, the throughway rest stop becoming an issue a while ago. You know, you've devoted so much of your time to this wonderful community. We're definitely going to miss you, but like I said in a previous conversation, we're going to definitely stay in touch, and feel free to always reach out if there's anything we can do for you. You know, we're not that far away, and you know, we'd love to extend any help that we can.
And I'm just going to miss seeing you when you walk, or when we used to run into each other. So your friendly smile and always taking the time to say hello, even at the post office, like Mike said, just taking a few minutes to catch up and to see how everybody's doing. So we really appreciate your warmth, your friendship, and we'll definitely miss you.
You're a good man, George Volmuth.
Hi George, it's Rick Werwaiss, and I just want to tell you that when we moved up here from Brooklyn in 1994 into the old Lee store, one of the first things that happened was you came knocking on our door to tell us the history of our house, and that was fascinating, and I was hooked. And I have to tell you that living in the Lee house in North Chatham has been a highlight of my life. And you and Jan made the community that I love so dearly. So thank you. I can't say enough for all the love and care that you've given to North Chatham and all of us who live here over the years. Your engagement in every institution that makes the community special is unbelievable. From the fire department to the cemetery to the creating the historical society and taking the trolley station from an absolute eyesore to a thing of beauty. Thank you. Saving the post office. Probably more than once, if I remember correctly. Thank you. And just being a special neighbor. I remember when we used to hold the library wine tastings down in your lower level, and my parents came. And you and Jan were just so gracious and endearing, and my parents fell in love with North Chatham too. So thank you for that too.